We love gossiping about celebrity divorces, but this one could actually have a big impact on the world. Bill and Melinda Gates splitting up. So what does that do to the massive charitable foundation that they founded back in 2000, a foundation that's given billions of dollars to causes around the globe? Let's bring in NBC News senior media reporter Dylan Byers. Dylan, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation has been considered the world's largest private philanthropic organization for over 20 years. They give billions away every year. How could this divorce change that? It was like the first question everybody had.
Yeah, well, look, there are two things that the divorce can do in terms of philanthropy. One is what goes on in the foundation itself, which, like you said, has been so influential. And there, both the Gateses and the foundation itself are saying nothing is going to change. They will continue to work together as they have done, and the money will continue to go out the door towards all of these causes that they have fought so hard for. I think what's actually the more interesting question, perhaps, is what happens to all the money that's not inside of the foundation. The extent of the philanthropic work that they do is not limited to the foundation. And so you've got in Bill Gates, someone who is worth almost $150 billion. That is a lot of money. How much of that money is going to go to Melinda Gates? How are they going to choose to use that money towards philanthropic ends? And then I think, going back to the foundation just for a second, the larger question is, can they stay united and keep the foundation going? And is that something they will both continue to be committed to? And what happens there?
Dylan, just last month, Melinda Gates was on MSNBC with Steph Rule talking about the foundation. Here's what she said then.
This is our life's work. This is what Bill and I have feel called to do, and the work that we are doing in the world.
So, Dylan, this foundation gave nearly $2 billion in grants to fight COVID. Bill Gates published a book on climate change in February. Just for people who may not be familiar with all the different causes and issues they support, what else have they backed?
Yeah, I would say the biggest thing for the longest period of time has been global development and global health and global education. A lot of the work that they've done, across the world has been basically in bringing poor communities around the world, particularly in Africa, basically up to speed in terms of healthcare and education. Like you said, climate change has become a very big issue for them in recent years. And of course, over the course of the last year or so, combating COVID-19. But their ability to think about how, money could best be allocated to fight the pandemic was born out of this history of investing in global health initiatives over the course of several years.
Gates is the fourth richest person in the world, according to Forbes, worth about $130 billion. We know Bill and Melinda didn't have a prenup, but they do have a separation agreement. What do you know about that deal? And do we have any sense at this stage of how their wealth could be divided?
Sure, that's right. It's a separation agreement. And because it's a separation agreement, it is private, at least for the time being. Both sides have agreed to honor that. And the question as to how much money, how the money will be divided, we don't know yet. That is to be determined. I think you can look at another high-profile divorce of a very wealthy man who also happens to be based in Seattle with Jeff Bezos. His wife ended up getting about $38 billion from that separation. I think we can anticipate that, like Mackenzie Bezos, Melinda Gates is about to become one of the wealthiest women in the world. And so that, again, to go back to the beginning of our conversation, going to open up all sorts of questions about how she chooses to invest that money outside of the foundation.
Dylan, there seems no question that the two of them care very much about philanthropic work. So I imagine even if it changes form, that will continue. But we'll keep an eye on this space. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.